What I'm about to tell you will make you question every friendly gesture you've ever received from someone close to you. For 2 years, I thought my best friend Emma was just being incredibly supportive and affectionate. She had boyfriends, talked about guys constantly, seemed completely straight. But last Friday night, in my own bedroom, she said 4 words that shattered everything I thought I knew about our friendship. If you've ever wondered if someone's just being nice or if there's something more, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments about a time you completely misread someone's intentions. My name is Riley, and I'm 21 years old. This story happened 3 weeks ago, but it feels like my entire world shifted in that single moment. I need to tell someone, and honestly, I don't know where else to turn. Emma and I have been best friends since our freshman year of college. We met in our dorm's common room during orientation week. She was this bubbly, outgoing girl from California with sun-bleached hair and a kind of smile that made everyone want to be her friend. I was the quiet one from a small town in Ohio, overwhelmed by everything about college life. But Emma made everything easier. She invited me to parties, helped me pick out clothes, taught me how to do my makeup properly. Within a month, we were inseparable. People used to joke that we were joined at the hip, that you couldn't find one of us without the other. And Emma was definitely straight. At least, that's what I thought. She dated guys consistently throughout our friendship. First there was Jake from her biology class, then Michael from the fraternity parties, and most recently, David from her internship. She would come to me after every date, gushing about how cute they were, asking for advice about what to text them, analyzing every interaction. I, on the other hand, had always known I was attracted to women. I came out to my family during high school, dated a few girls, and was completely open about my sexuality. Emma was incredibly supportive when I told her. She asked thoughtful questions, made sure I felt comfortable talking about my dating life, and never made me feel weird or different. But looking back now, there were signs. Signs that I completely missed because I was so convinced she was straight. Like how she would always find excuses to touch me. She'd play with my hair while we watched movies, rest her head on my shoulder during long study sessions, hold my hand when we walked across campus because it was cold. I thought she was just naturally affectionate. Or how she would get weird whenever I talked about dating other girls. She'd get quiet, ask fewer questions, change the subject faster than usual. I figured she was just less interested in hearing about same-sex relationships, which I understood. Not everyone is comfortable with that. But the biggest sign, the one I should have noticed, was how she looked at me sometimes. I'd catch her staring when she thought I wasn't paying attention, with this expression I couldn't quite read. It was soft and intense at the same time, like she was trying to memorize my face or figure something out. "What?" I'd ask, laughing. "Nothing," she'd say quickly, that beautiful blush creeping up her neck. "I was just thinking how lucky I am to have you as my best friend." And I believed her. Every single time. The first real moment that should have clued me in happened about 6 months ago. We were getting ready for a party together in my dorm room, trying on different outfits and doing each other's makeup. Have you ever had a friend who seemed almost too affectionate? That night 6 months ago was the first time I really noticed how Emma acted around me versus how she acted around other people. We were in my tiny dorm room, clothes scattered everywhere as we tried to find the perfect party outfits. "Riley, can you zip me up?" she asked, turning her back to me while wearing this stunning black dress. As I pulled the zipper up slowly, my fingers accidentally brushed against her skin. She shivered, actually shivered, and I heard her breath catch slightly. "Sorry," I said, thinking I'd been too rough. "Did I pinch you?" She turned around, and for just a moment, we were standing incredibly close. Her eyes dropped to my lips, then quickly back up to my eyes. "No," she whispered, "you didn't hurt me." But then her phone buzzed with a text from David, and the moment was broken. After that night, I started noticing more things. How she would always choose to sit next to me in group settings, even when there were open seats elsewhere. How she remembered every small detail about my day, my preferences, my fears and dreams. How she would text me good morning and good night every single day without fail. "You're such a good friend," I told her once after she brought me soup when I was sick with the flu. She smiled, but something flickered in her eyes. "Just a friend? What do you mean?" "Nothing, I just..." She shook her head. "I just care about you a lot." The touching became more frequent and more intimate. She'd trace patterns on my arm while we talked, play with my fingers when we sat together, lean against me in ways that felt almost romantic. But she had David, and I had convinced myself that some girls were just naturally more physical with their friends. Then there was the night she broke up with David. She came to my room crying, mascara running down her cheeks, completely heartbroken. "He said I was too clingy," she sobbed into my shoulder. "That I was always talking about someone else and he couldn't compete." "Talking about who?" I asked, rubbing her back gently. She pulled away and looked at me with red, puffy eyes. "You. He said I talk about you too much, that I prioritize you over him." I felt a weird flutter in my stomach. "Emma, you don't talk about me that much." "Don't I?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because sometimes I feel like you're all I think about." The way she said it made my heart race. There was something in her tone, something vulnerable and desperate that I'd never heard before. "You're my best friend," I said carefully. "Of course you think about me." "That's normal." She nodded, but she kept staring at me with those intense eyes, like she wanted to say something else but couldn't find the words. "What would you have done in that situation?" After her breakup with David, Emma started spending even more time with me, which I didn't think was possible. She was at my dorm room practically every night, sometimes falling asleep on my tiny twin bed while we watched Netflix or studied together. "Don't you want to go out and meet new people?" I asked her one evening as we lay side by side, sharing earbuds while watching a romantic comedy on my laptop. "Why would I want to do that when I have everything I need right here?" she said, turning to face me. We were so close I could count her eyelashes. The movie was forgotten as we just looked at each other. Her hand was resting on the small space of bed between us, and I had this overwhelming urge to reach out and touch her fingers. "Emma," I started, but she quickly turned back to the screen. "This movie is really good," she said, but her voice sounded strained. That became a pattern. These intense moments where it felt like something was building between us, followed by her quickly pulling away or changing the subject. She started asking me strange questions about my dating life. "Riley, when did you know you were gay?" she asked one afternoon while we were studying in the library. "I don't know, I guess I always kind of knew." "Why?" "Just curious." She was quiet for a moment, then, "How do you know if you're attracted to someone?" I looked up from my textbook. "What do you mean?" "Like, what does it feel like?" "The attraction." I thought about it. I guess, you can't stop thinking about them. You want to be near them all the time. You notice little details about them that other people might miss. Your heart races when they touch you, even accidentally. She was writing in her notebook, but I noticed her pen had stopped moving. Why are you asking? No reason, she said quickly. Just trying to understand your perspective better. But I caught her looking at me when she said it, and my stomach did that fluttering thing again. The strangest incident happened 2 weeks before the night she confessed. We were at a party together, and I was talking to this girl named Melissa who was clearly flirting with me. Emma appeared at my side almost immediately. Riley, can I talk to you? She said, her voice tight. She practically dragged me outside onto the porch. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing's wrong. I didn't like how she was looking at you. How was she looking at me? Emma struggled for words. Like she wanted to, like she was going to. Going to what? Kiss you, she finished quietly, her cheeks burning red. And that bothers you because... She opened her mouth, then closed it. I don't know. It just does. We stood there in the cool night air, both of us breathing hard for reasons I couldn't understand. Can you relate to this feeling of confusion? The week leading up to her confession was the strangest week of our friendship. Emma was acting completely different, more nervous, more clingy, but also more distant at the same time. She'd start to say something, then stop herself. She'd reach for my hand, then pull back at the last second. Are you okay? I asked her multiple times. You're acting weird. I'm fine, she'd say, but she clearly wasn't fine. On Wednesday, she asked if she could sleep over in my room again. My roommate had graduated early, so I had the whole space to myself. Emma had been sleeping over more and more frequently, claiming her new roommate was too noisy. That night, she couldn't seem to get comfortable. She tossed and turned on the air mattress I'd set up for her, sighing loudly every few minutes. Emma, what's going on? I finally asked from my bed. I can't sleep. Obviously. But why? Silence for a long moment. Then, Riley, can I ask you something? Of course. Have you ever been in love with someone who didn't love you back? My heart clenched. Are you still thinking about David? No, she said quickly. Not David. Someone else. I sat up in bed. Someone else? Who? But she'd gone quiet again. Thursday night, she showed up at my door at 11 p.m., eyes red like she'd been crying. Can I come in? Always. I stepped aside to let her enter. What happened? She sat on my bed and put her face in her hands. I think I'm losing my mind. Why? Because I can't stop thinking about someone, and it's driving me crazy, and I don't know what to do about it. I sat down next to her, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her body. Who is it? She looked up at me with the most vulnerable expression I'd ever seen on her face. I can't tell you. Why not? We tell each other everything. Not this. This is different. Emma, you're scaring me. Just tell me what's going on. She stood up abruptly, pacing my small room like a caged animal. You'll think I'm crazy. You'll think I'm a terrible person. I could never think you're terrible. You know that. She stopped pacing and looked at me directly. What if I told you that everything I thought I knew about myself was wrong? What if I told you that I'd been lying to myself for years? I'd say that takes courage to admit. What if I told you that I think I might be? Might be what? She opened her mouth, then shook her head. I can't. Not yet. She left that night without finishing her sentence, but I lay awake for hours thinking about what she might have been trying to say. Friday was the day everything changed. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew something big was about to happen? Friday started like any other day, but I could feel the tension in the air. Emma texted me around 6 p.m. asking if she could come over to talk about something important. Her message made my stomach flip with nervousness. She arrived at my door at 8 p.m. holding a bottle of wine and wearing this beautiful sundress I'd never seen before. She'd clearly spent time on her hair and makeup, which was unusual for a casual night in my dorm. You look really pretty, I said without thinking. She blushed deeply. Thank you. You look beautiful too. The way she said beautiful instead of pretty or nice made something flutter in my chest. We opened the wine and sat on my bed, talking about everything except whatever she'd come to discuss. The conversation felt forced, like we were both avoiding the elephant in the room. Finally, after we'd finished most of the bottle, she turned to face me completely. Riley, I need to tell you something, and I need you to promise not to hate me. My heart started racing. I could never hate you, Emma. You know that. You might after this. She took a deep, shaky breath. Do you remember when you told me how attraction feels? How you described not being able to stop thinking about someone, wanting to be near them all the time? Yeah. I've been feeling all of those things. 4 months. About someone. Okay, I said carefully, not sure where this was going. She was quiet for so long I thought she might not continue. Then, barely above a whisper, about you. The words hit me like a physical force. What? I'm in love with you, Riley. The words came out in a rush, like she'd been holding them back for so long they exploded out of her. I'd been in love with you for months, maybe longer, and I tried to convince myself it was just friendship, tried to make it go away by dating guys, but it won't go away. I sat there stunned, unable to process what she was saying. I know you think I'm straight, she continued, tears starting to fall down her cheeks. I thought I was straight too. But then I met you, and everything I thought I knew about myself just changed. Every morning I wake up thinking about you. Every night I fall asleep wishing I could hold you. When other people flirt with you, I get jealous in a way that doesn't make sense for a friend. Emma. I know this ruins everything, she said, crying harder now. I know I'm probably destroying our friendship by telling you this, but I couldn't keep pretending anymore. I couldn't keep lying to you and to myself. I reached out and cupped her face in my hands, wiping away her tears with my thumbs. Look at me, I whispered. She lifted her eyes to mine, and I saw so much love and fear and vulnerability there that it took my breath away. You're not ruining anything. Have you experienced something similar? You're not ruining anything, I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. Emma's eyes searched my face desperately. What do you mean? I mean, I took a deep breath, my heart pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. I've been in love with you too. Her mouth fell open. What? Emma, I've been in love with you for over a year. But you had boyfriends, you talked about guys constantly, and I convinced myself you were completely straight. I thought I was just protecting our friendship by never saying anything. You love me? Instead of answering with words, I leaned forward and kissed her. Softly at first, tentatively, giving her a chance to pull away. But instead, she melted into me, her hands tangling in my hair as she kissed me back with months of pent-up emotion. When we finally broke apart, both of us were crying and laughing at the same time. I can't believe we're both this stupid, she said, resting her forehead against mine. We really are, I agreed. All those times I thought you were just being a good friend. All those times I thought you were just being patient with your confused straight friend. We spent the rest of the night talking, really talking, about everything. How she'd realized she was attracted to me but had been terrified to acknowledge it. How I'd been dropping hints for months that she'd completely missed because she was so deep in denial. How we'd both been dying inside, thinking the other person didn't feel the same way. The night I broke up with David, she admitted, it wasn't really because he said I was clingy. I mean, he did say that, but the real reason was that I realized I was using him to avoid dealing with my feelings for you. And that wasn't fair to him. And all those times you got weird when I talked to other girls? Pure jealousy, she said, blushing. I hated seeing you with anyone else, but I didn't understand why until recently. 3 weeks later, we're inseparable in a completely different way. Emma moved into my room officially, as my girlfriend, not just my best friend, and we're planning to get an apartment together next semester. But here's the twist that still makes me laugh. Remember how I said Emma had always been so supportive of my sexuality, asking thoughtful questions and making me feel comfortable? Turns out she wasn't just being a good ally, she was trying to understand her own feelings and figure out if what she was experiencing was normal. I was basically interviewing you about being gay without realizing I was gay, she told me last week. No wonder you thought I was just being supportive. The funniest part? Our friends aren't even surprised. Apparently, everyone except us could see how in love we were. My roommate from freshman year texted me, finally. We've been waiting for you two to figure it out for literally years. Sometimes the person you're looking for has been right there all along, you just have to be brave enough to see what's been in front of you the whole time. Have you ever completely misread someone's signals? Or realized you were in love with your best friend? Share your story in the comments below. I want to hear about your own moments of realization. If this story gave you hope or made you think about someone special, hit subscribe for more real stories about love and friendship. What signs do you think we should have noticed sooner?